Hi everyone, we're LANY, and this is the oral history of us. My mom put me into classical piano when I was 5, but I definitely didn't want to be a musician. It was more like a thing that was forced on me. I think I wrote my first song when I was 16 to ask this girl to prom, and I realized that girls liked guys who could write songs. I was like, all right, well, this is my future.
Mine was like a mixture of youth group at church and a movie called That Thing You Do. So I saw That Thing You Do, and I asked my parents if I could get a drum set for my birthday. And I got one, and I was 11 years old. Here I am.
I'm not going to go that far back because I never thought I'd be a musician growing up. But there was one moment, Jake and I went to Bonnaroo, 2012, I think. We saw this band play called Dale Earnhardt Jr. And they were like, it was like the two of them and a drummer, I think, like a 3-piece. And I remember thinking, we could probably do something like that. So I think that was pivotal for me in like wanting to make music or be in a band.
Okay, so Les probably saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. and looked at Jake and was like, I think we can do something like this. So they started this band called Worlds while I was living by myself in Los Angeles. And I was just writing songs as a singer-songwriter. And I was just like a fan of like the sounds that they were pulling out and making and the songs that they're writing. And this was in 2013. Yeah. And like the landscape of music, it was so different even then. You had really big music blogs that got a lot of attention and respect, and SoundCloud was thriving, and it was kind of that moment in time where you could instantly put anything out into the world, and if it worked, it worked. And so I very reluctantly called Jake from my kitchen. I'll never forget it. I had like a window looking into this parking lot that was in my kitchen. Not the parking lot, but the window was in my kitchen. And I called him and I was like, is there any way, like, please, no pressure. It's fine if it's not cool, but can I fly back to Nashville and write a couple songs with you and Les and see what happens? And if it's awesome, maybe we can be a band too. And that is how LANY started. And so I flew to Nashville, I think like the first week of March. I kind of want to think it was March 5th of 2014. I was there for 4 days. We wrote and recorded our first 2 songs, Hot Lights and Walk Away. And we put them on the internet April 22nd, 2014. We never had a conversation about what this band was going to sound like. It was just like whatever we wanted it to sound like. So the first one's very like, how would you describe it, Les? Like, it's like new wave disco, kind of like, I don't know. It was really weird. Really, Hot Lights is really kind of quirky that way.
It's definitely like one of our most minimal tracks, which is something we're kind of known for in certain ways. I think I remember a lot of like what Jake calls tasties.
A tasty? So if you got a groove that's like doom ka doom doom ka, a tasty would be doom ka doom doom ka. Tasties.
And I think Walk Away is super like, well, like really showcased our instincts and our influences. And I think that there's a lot of LANY DNA still in that song. I think that comes through on almost everything that we do.
You're definitely right about the Walk Away thing. I think that's the one that really stuck with us, or is most in us. But it's also the one that we had the most trouble with, because it was kind of, it was a little bit of, it was a fight. We were like, this is not going to work, but that's the one I think that stuck, and I think that's definitely like has a lot of us in it currently. So.
And I think that song too also showcases a lot in what we love to call just space in songs. Like we love space without having a million notes a second. Sometimes it says a lot to have nothing there, and we love having nothing there sometimes.
So we kind of, it's actually pretty smart of us, because we're all from Nashville, where everybody in Nashville's like, hey, I'm playing a show here, please come. Yeah, please come. And at some point I was like, why? Like, I don't want to ask anyone I don't want to ask anyone to come to my show. I want people to be like, will you please play a show? And so we kind of took the approach from the beginning to just put out music, because you can play for more people on the internet than you can any other night of the week. And so why don't we just put out music and see what happens and give people time to fall in love with what we're doing. And then hopefully there's a demand that grows for us to play a show. So by the time we played our first show, our music had been out in the world almost 10 months. And that first show at the Sayers Club in Hollywood was so like packed and lit that the firemen came before we even started the show, because we were breaking fire code, high capacity codes. So I thought the show was going to get canceled because we just like, it was so insane. But I mean, I think right then and there, we knew that we were a band, and we're going to probably play a lot of shows in our lifetime. I actually feel like there were certain, not failures, but I think the harder times maybe defined us more than our successes. That I feel like a lot of character was built that really defined who we are as a band, and no matter if there's one person or 1 million people in the room, that we're still going to play with the same intensity.